The streamer fell from Mount Fuji live.
A man with no experience, without proper clothing and without any protective gear. He sets out to reach the summit of Mount Fuji. In the worst season of the year, when temperatures drop to as low as -30 degrees, winds blow at over 100 kilometers per hour, and the ground is completely frozen.
And there's one more thing. Mount Fuji is 3,776 meters high, which means it's almost 4 times taller than the Burj Khalifa. Let's continue.
Against all odds, he manages to reach the summit but experiences all kinds of problems. He's agitated, can't stop losing his balance, and his hands are numb from holding his phone, with which he's live streaming the entire journey. Hundreds of people are watching him in real time, unaware that they're about to witness something they'll never be able to forget.
That story is 100% real.
The protagonist of this video is Tetsu Shiohara. There are 2 things about this case that caught my attention. The first is that seconds before his tragedy, while he was completely alone, you can hear the mysterious voice of a woman who many believe is a ghost, warning him not to go any further. We'll see it in a couple of minutes. And the second reason is that many users on the internet don't believe it was an accident. They think it was something premeditated. But how would that make sense? To better understand the speculations, we need to know a bit about his story. Shiohara, known on the internet as Tetsu, was a 47-year-old Japanese man who lived alone in a modest apartment somewhere in Tokyo. In his youth, his parents sent him to the United States hoping he would become a lawyer, but for various reasons, he dropped out of school. Back in Japan, he put his life on hold. He was never able to resume his studies. He also couldn't find a place in the workforce and was financially supported by his parents. His life was lonely, he had no partner, no children, and no friends either. And to all this, there was an aggravating factor. He was recovering from stage 4 cancer with a very low chance of survival. Since his social life was practically non-existent, he found companionship in streaming. His live streams always involved him walking, showing some scenery, or having a conversation. Those who followed him described him as a calm and melancholic person. He was reserved and never talked much about his private life, but everything indicated that he was quite depressed. He always said things like every day is the same or I want to do something different. And in that search for something different, he chose something big, Mount Fuji.
It's crazy. Look, to put it in perspective, Mount Fuji is 3,776 meters high. It's the highest peak in all of Japan. But obviously, it's not the tallest mountain. That would be Mount Everest, which stands at 8,848 meters above sea level. I mean, that's the height of Mount Everest. It's absolutely insane. However, it's not the most dangerous mountain. For many people, that would be K2, which is a mountain range located on the border between Pakistan and China. It's the 2nd highest mountain on Earth, standing at 8,611 meters above sea level, and it's known as the Savage Mountain. It's considered the most dangerous and technically difficult summit in the world. I mean, just imagine that. Even so, climbing Mount Fuji is completely crazy. Especially for someone like this man, who apparently didn't have much experience and was already almost 50 years old.
Shiohara had only been hiking recreationally for a couple of years. And he had already climbed Mount Fuji, but during the summer, when everyone does it, even children, its difficulty is relatively low. The trails are well marked and there are many places to rest. But in winter, Mount Fuji becomes hostile. Between October and April, the mountain is closed to the public for safety reasons.
Let me explain so you can understand. Japan is a country with very distinct seasons. I mean, spring really feels like spring. These pink flowers bloom and everything. Summer is brutal. I mean, the heat in Japan is suffocating. In autumn, the usual happens, right? The leaves fall and everything. And in winter, in many areas of Japan, even several times in Tokyo, it actually snows. So, just imagine.
Ice, strong winds, low visibility, and most of the trails are frozen. Climbing in those conditions without authorization or technical equipment is crazy, but that's what Shiohara did. Without training, without crampons, without the right clothing, without a radio, and prioritizing the live broadcast over his own safety. And worst of all, he did it completely alone.
No, honestly, seeing it like this, I don't know if his goal was for this to end the way it did, to be honest.
On October 28, 2019, Shiohara started his live stream like so many other times. The title was simple and concise: I'm climbing Mount Fuji. On screen you could see him bundled up, but not enough for what was coming. He wasn't wearing a helmet, crampons or thermal gloves. Just a light jacket, his phone and 2 trekking poles. He was alone, without a guide, at a time of year when the mountain is officially closed to the public. At first, he seemed calm. He talked with the chat. He commented on the scenery. He made a few jokes. It's pretty slippery, or I can't feel my fingers anymore, are phrases he started repeating a lot at the summit of the mountain. He was breathing heavily. He walked slowly. The camera shook more than usual.
Guys, have any of you ever been in really cold, extreme temperatures? Have you ever been in cold that extreme? The thing with my fingers is crazy. I mean, there was a time when I felt like my fingers were going to fall off. Seriously, with that, so be prepared. And the thing is, I was wearing gloves.
It's extreme, we've continued with it. As you get closer to the finish line, something really strange happens. Many people noticed that you can hear a woman's voice saying the phrase in Japanese, konai konaide, which in Spanish means something like don't come or go away. The unusual thing is that Shiohara went completely alone and there were no other people making the journey that day, especially not at such a dangerous height. Users speculate that it is the voice of a spirit that tried to warn him about what was coming. The trail was no longer visible.
Did you hear the voice? I'm not so sure, but anyway.
It kept getting worse. Everything was covered in ice and snow, and the slope became more dangerous with every step. Shiohara was looking down at the ground while he spoke, and at some points, he seemed disoriented. A few of the hundreds of spectators watching him expressed their concern, telling him to be careful. Many others still didn't fully understand the risk he was taking. But he kept going, and when he was about to reach the top, around 3 in the afternoon, the following happened.
It's dangerous here too. Wait. Wait.
Wait.
Wait. Wait.
Shiohara slips and plunges down the face of Mount Fuji. His cell phone hits a rock and the live stream ends. The viewers are left in shock. They weren't sure if he fell or just dropped his cell phone. The thing is, one of the people who was watching realized how serious the situation was and notified the authorities so they could send help to the location. It took the rescuers 48 hours to confirm the worst. They had found a body at 2,300 meters above sea level, and it was Shiohara's. Since then, many have tried to figure out what really happened that day. For some, it was simply a tragedy, a combination of poor preparation, extreme weather, and overconfidence. An accident, yes, but one that could have been avoided. Others, however, believe there was more to it, that deep down Shiohara wasn't mentally well, as if he knew that climbing in those conditions could cost him his life, and yet he did it anyway. I'd like to read your theory. What do you think happened?
Look, from my point of view, that guy did it deliberately. That's what I think. Obviously, I can't be sure and I can't confirm it, but if you ask me, it was premeditated. Now, this was a video from the ominous channel Amazing. Subscribe. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching and I'll see you next time.